Hey guys, and welcome to my home birth vlog. So we're gonna go over a few things in this video. We're gonna, for one, go over all the questions that you guys asked on Instagram about home birth prep, etc. And then later on, I'm gonna take you guys down and downstairs and go over all of our home birth supplies and what you need for a home birth. Granted, that will vary a little bit for everyone, but for us, we'll go through the things that we have. So there were so many questions about home birth, which I'm not entirely surprised by. I know home birth isn't something that's super commonly discussed, and not everyone knows someone that's had a home birth, and not everyone is into home births. So I am going to answer as many of them as I can. I kind of tried to take some questions that were similar and morph them into one question so we could hopefully get everything done. So we're going to start with the questions, and then we'll go on to our supply list. So first question is, how many home births have we had? So this is going to be our second planned home birth. Our first 3 births were unmedicated hospital births. And then Kennedy was our first home birth. For me personally, I wouldn't have felt comfortable doing a home birth with my first or even my second. I personally felt I wanted to really know what birth was all about before I felt comfortable enough doing a home birth. That's totally personal. I know some people that have had completely successful home births with their first. That was just kind of a personal thing. I didn't entirely feel comfortable enough, and neither did Jay. I wanted to make sure I could have a variety of different kind of births unmedicated for one. That was really big for me. That was kind of always my biggest fear, was gonna need pain management and not have anything. That was one. Yeah, so I personally didn't feel comfortable until our third, which was Briley. I had started kind of expressing that I was interested in having a home birth, and Jay at that point was still not comfortable, and I chose to respect that, and he wasn't comfortable until Kennedy, and then that's when we had our first home birth. So this will be our second planned home birth, and at this point in time, I cannot foresee us choosing a hospital birth again, unless there is a medical reason to. Every further baby I anticipate will be home births from now on. Have all of your babies been born in the same home? So actually, even if we had home births, we've moved a variety of times. We've been in this house since Briley. So Briley came home to this house, Kennedy was born in this house, and this baby will be born in this house. And then Sky and Mason were both born in totally different places and situations in life. What made us choose home birth? So that's such a multi-layered question. So for me, I love birth so much. I talk about it all the time on my social, how much I love birth. I love the entire experience of it. Ironically though, every time I'm full term, waiting to give birth, I completely go into panic mode and I forget how much I love birth, and it's I can't do this. I'm totally petrified, but that's, anyways, getting off topic. So I love birth, and I love how empowered I feel, and I love all of my informed choices and being able to make informed choices for myself, for my baby, myself. That's what led us going with midwives, and we've been with the same midwifery group since my very first pregnancy. So for me, home birth was just kind of another avenue of that. I felt totally in control of my home birth. Every decision was my own. It was in my own space. It was run by me. At the end of the day, the show was completely run by me. I didn't have to abide by rules that I didn't like. I didn't have to see people I didn't want to see. I didn't have to deal with nurses. I didn't have to deal with any of that. I could be in the comfort of my own home with my own food, with my own recovery. Everything was up to me, and I got to do it by myself in whatever way I wanted to. But the main reason we actually chose to take the leap and actually do our first home birth was because I really wanted a water birth. Of my first 3 births that were in the hospital, my first 2 I labored in the tub for a significant amount of time, and at the hospital that is my local hospital, you are not allowed to deliver in the water at all. Some hospitals you can. It just depends on that hospital and that hospital's rules. At mine, you were unable to. Actually, at both my options, you're unable to. So that was one of the main reasons we were compelled to do it, was because I really wanted to do a water birth. but it truthfully became so much more than that. And now it's just, like I said, I just love being in control of my own space and making all the choices for myself. And my recovery was incredibly better from a home birth perspective. Being immediately in my own space, I felt really relaxed. I also should clarify that I have extreme hospital phobia. I'm super afraid of hospitals. I always have been, even in labor. I'm a germaphobe, and I'm just majorly triggered in hospitals, and I have wicked anxiety in them. So for me, it's a much more comforting state to be in my own home, 100%. So that's just for me. I have friends that love the hospital and love delivering there. But for me, it was never the greatest fit. Have you ever worried about something going wrong and not being in a hospital? So these are all informed choices at the end of the day. So we discussed their midwives, we did our own research, we looked into tons of things before we had our first home birth, about success rates, for example, and our risk factors. So for one, we are a 2-minute ambulance drive away from our hospital. So if we, in the event, had to be transferred, we are literally a 2-minute ambulance drive away. So in most situations, we would actually be tended to at about the same time span that it would be if we were in the hospital. By the time an emergency team got up to us, it's very similar timing for one. Also, I have had 4 successful births, but when we had our first, it was 3 successful births, and our second was a somewhat complicated birth, and it was successful. I think honestly this question kind of depends on what in particular you're thinking is going to go wrong. If it's like neonatal resuscitation wise, my midwives can 100% do like level 2 resuscitation, just like you could in a hospital before you're immediately transferred. And same thing, we're 2 minutes away from our hospital. You have all the drugs at your house, at your home birth, if you hemorrhage or anything like that. So I think it's a little bit of a common misconception thinking that it's just you're having this baby at home and it's YOLO effect kind of thing. There's a lot of, I don't want to say rules, but there's a lot of ways it's managed with a midwifery team, which I think is actually asked. Yeah, so one of the other questions was, do you have a midwife? Are you doing it independently? No, I would most definitely not do it independently by choice. I have an amazing midwifery team. And so at my home birth, there's 2 midwives present, which is required. One is for me, essentially, and one of them is for the baby, essentially. Anyways, so do I worry that something's going wrong? I guess I do, but I worry the same way I would if I was in a hospital birth, to be frank. So it doesn't really make a vast difference to me that I'm worrying at home or worrying in the hospital, because my worry about something going wrong in birth is equivalent. I'm not more worried because I'm at home and not in a hospital. And I'm not less worried in a hospital because I'm there, if that makes sense. Is home birth safe? I got this quite a few times. I feel a little bit uncomfortable kind of diving into that, just because, to be frank, I think the people that think home birth is unsafe are gonna always think home birth is unsafe, no matter what I say. So to be totally frank, I'm gonna somewhat dodge that question. I'll answer my side of it, but I highly recommend, if you're considering a home birth or you're interested in home births, you can happily reach out to me, and I can happily provide you with some statistics and some links for further education. And I would recommend doing your own research, but by research you have to use properly sourced facts, not gossip and not these crazy stories that you see all over. The home birth statistics are incredibly reassuring in Canada, I'll tell you that much. The statistics are amazing in Canada. There's tons and tons and tons of pros to home birth versus hospital births, as far as safety measures and success rates. So I would urge you to do your own research. And like I said, I'm more than happy to provide statistics, etc. If you're interested, you can DM me and I can send those to you. Who's caring for your kids, and are the kids going to be involved? That was also I think the most asked question was what happens with our kids. So our kids are a bit complicated because, to be honest, it's just birth is so unpredictable. We just don't know when I'll go into labor. We don't know how the labor will go. We don't know, like, it's just so unpredictable that I can't really answer that. We have kind of a plan of what we think we want to do, but it really depends. I do not want my kids present. Excuse me. I don't want our kids present at our birth. Briley is super into birth videos, and I'm sure Briley would actually be quite interested in being involved. It's more for me. I personally see it being a distraction for me and something that probably wouldn't be great for me in that time. That being said, I don't, like, maybe in the moment I would feel fine with it. So how we kind of have it arranged is if it's at night and our kids are here, we likely would just leave our kids. They our kids don't really wake up, so I'm not that worried about it. If it's during the day, to be honest, it's just kind of a play it by ear situation. My mom would be the one that would be caring for our kids, but my mom lives about 45 minutes away, and our last birth was 53 minutes start to finish. So if our kids end up being here by chance, that's a possibility. Our older two kids have expressed they do not have any interest in being present. Actually, Skylar was quite afraid of the idea of being present. So ideally, they're not going to be here. But like I said, birth is just so unpredictable that it's kind of... We have some neighbors that we're close with that we could call upon if needed. But that's, again, just something we would have to kind of play by ear. With COVID, are you allowed more than just your partner in your home? Yeah, so home birth protocols are completely different. It's going to be up to your care providers. So for us in our practice, we didn't have the same COVID rules that the hospitals have for our midwifery team. So what we currently have planned is Jay, myself, obviously, we have a birth photographer, and we have our doula who has been present since my very first birth with Skylar. That's our team that we have planned. If it ends up being all those people, if it ends up somehow being more people, I'm not sure, but that's what we have planned. And so with our particular midwifery practice, there aren't really any rules in state in regards to who you can have present at a home birth currently. Have you done a water birth? Are you having one this time? So yeah, we are planning on having a water birth. We did have a water birth with Kennedy, but by like the grace of God, like my water broke with Kennedy, and I was standing beside my pool, and the minute my water broke, I had the fetal ejection. So essentially I was pushing without even knowing, and she was kind of coming out, and my one midwife and my doula both really knew I really wanted a water birth, so they quite literally like lifted me up and threw me in my pool, and Kennedy was born under 2 minutes later. So I technically had a water birth, but like by literal seconds to spare. This time I'm hoping to have a water birth. I wasn't like disappointed with that though. With Kennedy, I didn't feel the need to be in the water. I just didn't, like, I wasn't really feeling pulled to be in there. And I also think I was kind of in shock by how quick my labor was going and progressing. So I think I kept subconsciously kind of thinking, oh, I have so long to go, so I'm just gonna wait, and didn't really realize I was just about done kind of thing. So I mean, I plan on having a water birth this time. If I do, we will see. But that is the plan, yes. Water birth versus dry birth. A lot of questions regarding that. So for me, the water is just super soothing, and something I've always really liked in labor. I didn't have it with Briley. I didn't have a tub in my hospital room with Briley. I only had a shower, and her birth was kind of strange. I actually stayed in my bed the whole time with her, which was very strange because I'm usually quite up and active in labor. But she's the only one I didn't have water with. I've always really liked water. It helped me with pain management. It helped me just feel focused and relaxed. But granted, I've only delivered 1 out of 4 in the physical water. So I mean, pros and cons, everything. And I think every birth is so different that it's really hard to kind of put it as far as like a water birth versus a dry birth. I think everyone's just different, but I truthfully really do love my water births and intend to continue down that route. Yeah, this question kind of made me giggle. What happens to the water from the pool after? The reason it made me giggle is because I also had no idea until I had a water birth. I had no idea. When I go through the supplies list, I will show you guys. It actually has like a submerge pump, I think is what it's called. Like you buy a pump basically, and the pump sits in the water, and then you drain it into like your sink is what we did. But I also didn't know that. I didn't know any of these things until I went to have one. So who cleans up was also a somewhat common question. So I think it kind of depends. My midwives are always really helpful, or were last time at least, helpful with kind of assisting and cleaning up. My doula is like saving grace, and saves us every time, for everything. Like even we had hospital births, she's just kind of does everything. That's great. But yeah, it was kind of, last time was kind of just a combination. I think Jay and my doula like drained the water, and my doula made my bed for me, like went upstairs and made my bed. I think one of my midwives started a little laundry. I don't really remember, to be frank, but yeah, it's kind of just a group effort. You just kind of do what you gotta do and people clean up. Yeah, so I had a few of these like in different variations. Are the costs of home birth high? And some people were saying like their insurance won't cover it. So I'm in Canada, so unfortunately I can't help you in regards to insurance questions. I had a few insurance related questions. I unfortunately just can't help with them because I'm in Canada. Unfortunately, our healthcare covers all of it. I don't have to worry about anything like that. And I know the home birth world in the States and Canada are very different things, and we're kind of talking about vastly different situations. So unfortunately, I can't help there. The physical cost of home birth is not, like, for me in Canada, is not high. It's just kind of my supplies of what I need and want. There's very few things that are actually required that I purchase. Majority of them are for comfort measures. But yeah, so unfortunately, I wish I could help more than as far as insurance goes. But I cannot, because I'm very fortunate to be in Canada. So that wraps up most of our questions as far as home birth, etc. So I am going to take you guys down to where we have all our home birth supplies and kind of go through the home birth prep, and also immediate postpartum when we're dealing with home versus hospital, and go from there. Okay, so I'm downstairs with my birth supplies, so I'm going to try and show you guys everything. I have it all out, kind of scattered around. So first thing I'm going to show you guys for our home birth is what we have for our bedding. So as much as we're planning on a water birth, you just never know. And yeah, you just never know where we're going to end up. But also for even immediate postpartum, we have like birth bedding, just with postpartum bleeding, etc. So what you're going to need is you're going to need dark colored pillowcases. So I actually have black that I bought at IKEA last time just for super cheap. So I have some black bedding. Okay, so what you're going to, well, how do I explain this? Okay, so the best way is what we have is we have a full waterproof mattress protector that's already on our bed. So then you do one layer of your mattress protector, and then on top of that layer, you're going to put a regular sheet over top of that layer. So then you're going to do your waterproof mattress cover, a sheet, and then on top of that, we do this like a shower curtain on top of that. And then on top of that, you're going to do your fitted sheet. Thank you, that's the word. Your fitted sheet. So we have like a dark black fitted sheet. And then we just have a regular sheet because it's too hot for a duvet or anything like that. Here's the other pillowcase for that. And then we have our reusable pee pads, like these ones. So then I have two of those for my bed, which will just sit on top of my fitted sheet. So again, it's going to go your waterproof mattress cover, then like a sheet or a fitted sheet, then a shower curtain or something like that, and then another fitted sheet, and then like two of these ish where you're going to be lying, and then we just have like a regular sheet for a blanket, and then dark pillowcases. They don't have, like, I mean, dark is just easiest for staining purposes, but it doesn't matter if you have older bedding that you just don't care about, then you totally we just do that. So this I actually keep upstairs, like beside our bedroom. But I brought it down here to show you guys. Okay, so then we have this big Rubbermaid bin with all of our birth supplies. I'm just gonna kind of take it out one at a time to kind of show you guys what we have, and that's been staying down here where I likely will be laboring. I do have over here, I have my birth pool, which is in, we actually just bought this for this birth and future births. So we have the pool in here. You blow it up. So we have this air compressor thing that blows it up. So there's that. Here is the drill pump that you guys were asking about for how you get the water out. We just bought one of these that attaches to your drill, and you just pull out the water into like a sink. So that's for the pool. And then we have the liner for the pool. These are not reusable, so this is the only thing we will have to purchase again for another birth. So there's our liner. We have a thermometer for the pool because the pool has to be at a certain temperature, which I don't know off the top of my head. Don't ask. You can look it up though. But this cute little one with a unicorn. We have our net for exactly what you're thinking it is for, bodily waste of any form that you have to pick up. We got it. That was literally, we just got that from the dollar store. Oh, for anyone that's wondering too, our birth tub we got from like a birth supply place. Our pump, the air pump, is actually a rental. The submerged pump for draining we got at Princess Auto. This we also got at Princess Auto, and the liner we got from the birth supply place. I have my records, all my records from my midwives that I have to have on me. So if I had to have an emergency transfer or anything like that, I have all of my birth records, which is important to have. We have a flashlight, which is on our midwives' birth kit list. I have some Depends. I was telling you guys I couldn't find them for my hospital bag, but I have them. So here's my Depend, which I have a few of those. I have a few of these maxi pads for immediate postpartum in here. I have 2 Harry bottles for aftercare. I'm just going through this in the order it's in the bin, not necessarily the order I'll be using it. This is actually a kit from my midwives, but we have some of our own. So we just have a bunch of different, like I think probably 10 total of the non-reusable pee pads. So those are always really good to have. You can get those like PetSmarter in the dollar store. My all-time fave, the mesh panties for postpartum. Great to have, so those are in here. I should organize this better when I'm done here. Okay, so getting to more birth supply. Like, so we have 4, I probably should have 5, but dark washcloths. These are used for a variety of things, but usually for hot compresses for when you're pushing. I have a slightly larger, like a hand type towel, which I'm actually not positive we have that in there for. I have another one of the reusable pee pads in here in case I end up on my couch or something like that, for example. And then on this side, I'm not gonna take them all out, but I have like 10 towels, basically, just like, I'll show you like one of them. Some of them are ripped, some of them are like just gross old towels. Most people will say if you are having a water birth to use a tarp or like a shower curtain for your floor, for underneath. I have like sensory issues, and the sound really bothered me with Kennedy of the tarp being moved and stepped on, etc. So I chose to go without it this time and just use like towels, etc. So we have some extra towels, but towels are definitely a must-have of things. And then moving on to this area I have over here. I have our sleeping blankets for Babe. I gotta grab a few more from upstairs, but there's like 4 here. You probably want like 6 or 7 of them. I have some itty bitty newborn diapers that are out and ready. I have Baby's hat, want it, Baby's first outfit, like just to throw on. And then I have a blanket for Baby to use right away. So I have all this stuff ready. And then I also have here my nursing pillow, which I will want. I have my hospital baby bag and then my hospital bag in case for some reason I was transferred, and not everyone wants to do that. I just feel most comfortable having it there and prepared. And then also in here I have like my first outfit, like a comfy outfit for me to get into after labor, and then I have a bunch of my underwear and stuff like that in case I want to get into those instead of like the mesh panties. I have those in there too. So that's all here. So what we've been doing is we've literally been storing it just right on our main floor where, like I said, I like will be laboring. So all of this goes in like a big Rubbermaid, and it's all here really. So I mean the other things that we have ready are things like Gatorade. We have a lot of snacks for myself, Jay, and like our birthing team. We have ice. That's the other thing that actually, that's why we don't have ice yet. We need to get ice. Ice is something really good to have. A crock pot they recommend to have so that you can keep these guys warm for hot compresses. But ice is definitely something I recommend. Also to have straws on hand. That seems to be something that I've always wanted in labor, is straws for easy access. Yeah, so that's majority of our, actually no, that's all of our birth supplies. It's not that crazy. People always think like you need all this stuff. It's not. Like, I mean, my midwives come with their own stuff. I don't have to worry about supplying them with their stuff. It's mainly comfort measures for me, and if you're not having a water birth, if you're just having a dry home birth, there really isn't that much stuff that you would need, because we're using a pool. There's a bit more stuff. Yeah, and then the only other things we have are postpartum related, which I'll get into in the postpartum video and postpartum supplies. And the only other thing that I have left to do really is to make some postpartum pads, like with a Sits bath, like with a Sits tea bag, make postpartum pads and freeze them. I haven't done that yet. I will do a short video on how to do that. But other than that, this is our home birth supplies. So like I said, it's not as much as you would think, but that's all of it. So anyways, let me know if you guys have any questions, and thanks so much for watching.